Hey everybody, you just joined Wicked Lady Hippy at the bar live, and I forgot something which is behind me. If I don't dump the stool over, I'll be good. Ugh. I bought the bar stools, I shouldn't complain. Hey guys, it's gonna be one of them damn Mondays if you ask me. You know, this ain't for kids. God, my hair is all smushed. These headphones, they didn't work wonders. I really wouldn't bother. I have to hold them in with a headband. So, hey guys, I've been out in the rain. We're here in Augusta. It's going to rain pissing rain. You went outside, you wouldn't need a shower, just take the soap with you. It was raining. I had to go and do errands, of course, today. So forgive me, I'm a bit disheveled. I think I said that yesterday. I'm on a roll. Sorry, I went running to get one of my lighters because I get to sit down. I quit smoking, medical reasons, and my husband doesn't allow me to have my little cigarillos. They smoked these in Europe when I was stationed there. Army veteran, published author, mother of one, grandmother of two. One of them is also an Army veteran, so giving the stage away there. Okay, yeah, okay, we're gonna throw in live chat. If y'all don't get that in there, you ain't gonna come in. I put these up, I do them live. I don't really have a topic. I don't drop a video and have everybody talk about said video. It feels like plagiarism to me, and maybe it's because I'm a published author. In any event, I love to get up here and talk to various people. If you're here in Augusta and you would like to pop into the bar, let me know in the comments. Any of those ideas, just put them in, throw in the live chat. I had a bad injury and I had to take a year off. And I thought, it was cool. I was at a bar because we thought this was a little bar, but it was a big, big, big bar. It's a Remington, with the big mirror on the other side and all this stuff. And we put in an ice maker and we got a little fridge and stick it in. And so we're moving. We redesigned the whole house. We bought new furniture, got rid of china cabinets, and coalesced everything into one. Got rid of the dining room table and all that. Made this a big open room. I tell them we need a pool table. I love being retired. I love having my own bar, man. I don't have to call nobody. I just go ahead and sit down. Yes, while I'm at the bar, I get to do that, and I get to indulge in these because I talk a lot. Yeah, I know, right? And these go out, and so I don't buy them because then I would actually have to say I've returned to smoking. He will get me so many a month, and I have to learn to live on those. So I don't. In fact, I don't smoke as much of this as I did of my vapor, and I did vape for 4 or 5 years too. So it's been a little while. And then we had the big accident. I got off of everything. I couldn't do anything. My eyebrows hurt for a year. It happened 2 weeks before the hurricane hit, which was due for some surgery that day at the VA, which is normally a 15-minute drive. It's 5 miles away. We couldn't get out of the suburb. Just about the time we were going to make it out to where we could get towards the VA. We get a call. Don't bother, the surgeons can't make it. So then it's to find you. Meanwhile, the hurricane's going on, tornadoes are zipping by. And I'm just patched together. I don't even have I don't know what you call them. I was just pieced together with like a little padding and a lot of ace bandages. And they had this thing that they put up at the top and to the bottom on the sides and told you don't move. I don't know what they thought about bathroom rigs, but and you don't think, okay, I've used these before, being prior military. At some point you're going to get hurt, and I didn't think too much about it. And the next day, because my husband was like almost carrying me everywhere, and the next day he's got things to do, and I'm good. He's waiting. And so I get up on my crutches and I make it to the master bedroom suite. And it's about 6 steps to the bath. And I got to the 6th one and I was going, okay. Oh, somebody catch me. Leg would not do it. It took months for that leg to get strong enough to where I could actually do it because you couldn't put any weight on the other leg. I got more pins and needles in there than the five and dime. So if anybody north, they recognize that. I think here it's just the dollar store, which isn't a dollar store. Hasn't been for a decade. It's kind of like Weekend at Bernie's. They tell you it's cool. You know, you're paying 10 pounds for a hamburger. Fuck you. Like I said, we talk about anything and everything up here. As far as I'm concerned, this is like Woodstock without the mud and not having to go anywhere and getting drunk is whatever. It's legal now. Even the VA, I mean, they know. Well, they got your blood work and shit. They know what you did in 1973, which was a good year. So I don't have a set topic. I also try to mention, and when the out failed Charlie Kirk, I only knew him as the boy who said, "Prove me wrong" on the campus. Didn't know he had a wife and kids. Didn't know he had a pod site. Didn't know any of those things. Didn't know he was worldwide into politics. Did not know that. And it never made a difference, but I did check in further to his life. And I'm still horrified that somebody decided that this man needed to be assassinated live in front of millions of people. It wasn't just the several thousand kids that were there, thank God. They didn't get hurt. But that same place where he was massacred, he was martyred, they have changed it. All the grass and stuff they took out, put in new stuff, concrete the shit in. And that's something? That's nice, yeah. What do we want to remember the boy? And I didn't know any of this about the politics, didn't know anything. I still quite know a lot. I just liked him because he was a good Christian boy. He was kind to everybody that I saw. He never raised his voice. He didn't need his phone to answer questions. He answered your question, whatever it was. He just said, "This is the way I feel about it. You feel about it." And then be yelling at him and shit, you know. And he was pretty cool. So I thought I would say something about him every day that I was on the air. Candace Owens, I haven't looked lately at your podcast, and I kept praying that you would take a break. But there is no one else that is trying to find out what happened to Charlie. And even I stopped looking for an investigation because I couldn't hardly find anything, even on YouTube. And I really don't do, the WhatsApps and all that. Shoot, I'm retired. I'm good that I'm talking on this. But I'm hoping you're safe, and I hope you don't stop until you find out who killed your friend. And respect, girl. My respect. Definitely. You can take that as you like. I was in the first company of women to train with the men when they disbanded the WAC Corps, the Women's Auxiliary Corps. And I had Vietnam Airborne Rangers for drill sergeants, COs, XOs, so we had a good time. I told my girls, "You can bend, but you fucking break, I kill you." I was like, "Don't you do it though." Because you did the same thing the men did. Now I've heard that's different now. And I just agree with that highly. You have to be a soldier. You're not a female, you're not a male, you're a soldier. There's a whole different thing there. It's like ours told us, you can't sashay now. My husband still says, yeah, I march, I don't walk. Wanda, when are you going to walk like a girl? Shut up and walk. So, and I'm like a girl today. See, all the way to the floor, a little hair. I look good today. Yeah, I know. Thanks for the live chat shit, guys. I usually don't do what I'm going to do and start doing, which is post it on Facebook. Once I started doing a podcast every day, I didn't have time. And I still don't, trying to work everything back. I don't know how I can be retired and never have a 10 seconds to my name. I mean, by the time I'm finished, it's 11, 12 o'clock. Honey, I get up at 5, 4, whenever I wake up. I wake up before dawn, always have. And so I'm sitting there drinking coffee and playing music, and Robert chilling, "Shut up." My husband. So today's been fun. Went shopping. Yep. $10 for hamburger and chicken. I'm get real tired of those. I got one roast left in my freezer. I'm gonna put that sucker together. Needed to make some Navy ham and beans and cornbread and fried taters, and it's basically a heart attack dinner. I had my son talking. Believe my son, I have one child, and I live a mile off post. I've always lived by the base. Besides being Army, I also was civil service and all the above, and so I was always at the base. So it's always where I lived. And this is the longest I've ever lived in one place, and we're popping up on our 15th year now. But it looks like me and my husband and my son and his wife are going to sell our homes, and he's going to get 10 acres, and he wants mom and dad on the back 10 acres. They're having a house built, and we're in we're just old, and he's putting up. I think we agreed on a double wide because I thought it was rather funny. And then my grandson, he wanted my grandson on the property too, so that all of it. This is the Miami Rainey family, and that's his only family. And my husband still has two brothers and a sister alive, but they're not doing very well at all. We expect to call. So people are always saying, "Why are you in black?" I'm like, because we're always saying goodbye to someone. And it's been steady for 30 years, almost every year at least. There's one time that it's together to say goodbye. Unfortunately, it's the only time you see anybody. And unfortunately for me, I had 3 deaths during the year I had to take off of everything. So I couldn't go. My husband was my only caregiver, so he couldn't go because this was down near Florida. Now that's not far, really, but it's a good 4 or 5 hour drive, and I couldn't do it. And after that, he bought a big Wonder Lodge kind of RV. I mean, this thing is I loved it. I loved it after I loaded it. But in any event, he was hoping that if anything did go wrong, he could take this RV and I would be okay, and be kind of at home, away from home, and I could attend. It broke my heart. I couldn't be there. These are people mainly, that you've known half your life at least, and it's sad to see them go ahead of you. So I mean, mine, I really kind of want the Scottish. When I want bagpipes, I want people singing. I want people having a damn nice time, having plenty of drinks at the bar. That's how I want you to say, "Hey, welcome on to your next adventure." It's like I tell my son, I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of how maybe, but I've always thought Oregon had the right idea. So if you're terminal, just go to Oregon and buy something or rent something, and they can go ahead and let you have your date or when you want to pick your date to pass across the Rainbow Bridge yourselves. And I thought, finally, they're not going to let us have to go through $15,000 a day because we're dying. It's just and my husband went through it. He had stage 4 throat cancer, and no one expected him to make it. And we had hospice in and everything. It was rough. It was rough. And I kept this house immaculate. I didn't want a germ in here at all. Back that the hospice nurse said, "You recovered because of her." We've seen many homes that we go to. Never saw one as clean as yours. Your bedding was done every day, every bit of it. Their whole house was cleaned every day. And many of those who have passed, they were laying almost in filth. Sometimes we would clear areas. So, you need to recognize. And I was like, "Oh," because I was his only caregiver as well. But he beat it. He got to ring the bell. Amen. And so now, of course, we're retired, like I said, and I'm having fun doing the podcast. I try to stay only an hour because I'll talk about shit every day. I tell everybody, pop in, come on up here to Augusta. I'll put you on there. I got several more cents we can all talk. I mean, it's Woodstock without the mud, and we don't have to pay to get in. It's just live as it can be. I have live chat up, and of course comments up, so you can talk back to me. You can talk to me. If there's something you want to see on a video, tell me. I'll load it up for you. I actually don't even pull my whole frame up, even my broadcasting one, because I just run this through it. And if there are errors or whatever, forgive me. I really don't give a shit. I haven't any more time, literally, to go through and edit, and make something, out of it. This is out of it. I love you, Joe Rogan. Hey, guy. He's got a little bar thing going there. Love Jim News Radio, and I'm sorry what happened there. But I've loved you for years. You're great. Bill Maher. Johnny Carson, dude, right? Johnny Carson, right? Love you too, Don. Love you too. Love the bar. Love the bar. Love the podcast. Shay, hey, shout out. I love you too, boy. Um, and I love Donnie, President Trump. I call him Donnie. And it's like, all these Somalians that are being arrested, could you think about sending them to what you call alligator Alcatraz? I call it Gator Gitmo. Don't you dare steal that. It's Gator Gitmo. Send them bitches down there. But it turns out the better thing is to send them back to Somalia because I've seen I've seen 3 or 4. They're begging. They can't go back. Let's hope. Think about what we're doing, guys. Like a cigar, right? Um, I have my own bar. Like I said, my husband buys me whiskey fireballs. They have a bit of cinnamon at the end. I love that kick. And he buys me these. I love the little airplane. So it looks like there's a lot that I'm drinking, but I lost my family to cirrhosis because of drinking. So this is about the only time I drink, and I have a bottle. But I do like mine on the rocks, and so that's what I do. This is my Scottish crest. I found I'm adopted. I found out through DNA, which is what I'd said all along. I'm British, Scottish, and Irish. Pretty much that's the same damn thing. It's just who could really red hair, green eyes. My skin's so pale, I look like I've never seen the sun. What the hell do you think I am? They thought I was Native American. I kid you not. My sister was dark-eyed, dark-haired, olive skinned, obviously a different father. It was just obvious. We were so very different. Everything. And I look like the older brother, half brother. The other half brother died, and the other half brother's not doing well. But he's a hypocrite. He's one of those. What do they call them? They go door to door, and folk don't like them. That's some hypocritical shit. I don't believe in organized religion. Jesus told you you're gonna have a lot of false preachers and a lot of false churches. So which one is it? When you go to your church, who the hell is it? Oh, hey, he got a plane. Give us some more money to play. Did nobody question that a daycare center had enough money so that women could go through the Minneapolis airport with millions of dollars of cash in their carry-on? Turns out they did report that shit. And they could do that till Donnie got up there. Love you, Donnie. President Trump, I don't mean to, but I love you. I love you. I love you. I mean, you might be an ass, but you're our ass. If you ask me, Americans can be asses now. I've served over in Europe, and I found out most of them don't have good manners. And after a while, when you're in the military and they get stupid with you, you better have bail money. I'm a 5'2" female, and they just underestimate. I love that. They underestimate all the time. Underestimate the shit out of me. I will find an equalizer. Piss me off. Just test me. I know they just frown on kind of stuff. Unless it's the other guy doing it, then it's different. We got people plowing into people with trucks. Oh, but guns kill people. No, the fucking gun don't kill the person. The person firing the fucking gun kills the person. Get a grip. If they take away the weapons, you got to wait and I've seen 40 and 50-minute waits easily where there's an active shooter. I've always carried since I went in the Army at 17, and I had rank. I had 3 chevrons. You go into boot camp, you don't have any. You're just a trainee. And after, I think it's 6 months or something, I didn't have to go through that. But shit rolls down for everybody else. But when you're in the military, shit rolls uphill. And I had technically a lot of rank. So I was nicknamed Wicked, and didn't sleep much, we'll put it that way. And they called me CO's pet because he needed things typed up every day, this report, that report. And man, just, and he was cool. He got me so many hours a day away from everybody else, and I would do the exercises. Like before you go into chow, I would do those real quick, have chow, and then run in and be secretary for 2 hours and then run back out and be soldier again just to get him caught up on the paperwork. And I typed 145 words a minute. So he was like, he didn't want to let me even go. And it was cute. We trained it, of course, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I give the guys credit. They treated us with respect. And they assisted if they needed to. We assisted them if they needed it. That's what you do. It's a big family. It's just us against whoever. And so it was one big family. Unfortunately, I didn't have this medium when I was there. And so I lost touch with many of them. Some that I do know still are around. Some in Illinois, one of my friends in Hawaii at Maui. She's always begging me to come over. And my husband, and I'm with my husband on this because I flew last in like 2011 or something. And we were like this, you know. And they put in more seats. And I said, forget it. I'd be all sideways and shit. Oh, no, I'm good. I'll walk. So it's either take a cruise to Hawaii or fly to Hawaii. Yes, can't drive there. I mean, you can kind of drive pretty close, maybe get a boat. So kind of Hawaii, he won't go. So I'm trying to talk my daughter-in-law, my princess, little 13-year-old granddaughter into going. So far, not so good. See, they go out. So if there's anything anybody wants to talk about, scrape, complain, bitch, tell me I don't care. Get up here. We need to go ahead and take this with both hands while it's free, and we can do it. We can say, what the hell do you mean the Somalians stole $9 million? And the only guys that are asking and saying about it are going, well, I'm sure there was some fraud going on, but the president did this and that. The president did not buy them Lamborghinis. They didn't buy them cash to put in their luggage to take to Dubai and send to Somalia. Now, guys, I don't know about y'all, but I got a problem with this shit. I didn't ever use my unemployment. Am I getting that money back? Well, fuck no. They don't even know if they can give us our Social Security. We paid Medicaid, Medicare. We paid that for decades. Do you know what you get? You get a card that doesn't apply to fucking anything. You cannot use it in a doctor's office. You can't use it in a hospital or pay an ambulance unless you have Part C, which means you go through, like Blue Shield, Humana. So you pay $149 a month to insurance, and then you have all that taken care of. Well, I would think so. What that 1,500 a year. Where the hell is the Medicaid and Medicaid money that I paid? I stay with the VA, and I'm grateful that I can do that. But it makes my blood boil when I think about. They tell me what I can have, when I can have it, and they stole from me for like 50 years of working, and now they're gonna tell me, but my insurance didn't go down. I might spend driving time of 20 miles in a month. And do I get that money back either? No, the government says you got to pay them, but the government doesn't say you got to give shit back. Now, I ain't never had a ticket, nothing, and yet I've paid these things for decades and decades. When do I get that money back? I quit driving. Give me all my what's left of my money. Draw a line. Yeah, thieving bitches. That's theft by government. And that ain't the only ones. Get me started. They'll probably kick this off the air. Not that I can. And that's what it's here for. Freedom of speech, baby. And it's all about the Benjamins. That's much better. So, I saw this thing yesterday, and they were calling it a poltergeist. And it grabbed a guy. You see the black mass forming. Kind of humanoid. Definitely dark shadow guys. And it grabbed his leg. He was working out in a nice little place, and he's on the top floor. And they grabbed this boy's leg. First, it pulls him down, knocks him down, and then it starts walking off with him, holding on to one leg. You can see it clearly on the CCTV. They actually send people to help him because he's being dragged back to the door and out. I mean, and he's freaking. He can't stop. It's actually drug him from a good 15, 20 feet to the doors when they burst in, and then he let go, whatever that thing was. And I've seen many of those, many of those. When we were in my husband's mother's home, when we inherited it before we got rid of it, it was a mess. In any event, he was staying with us while they were saving to buy a home here. My son went off in the kitchen. There was a closed off with French doors, and it was a dining room and a kitchen, and a long hallway on the other side. He's about 23, 24. He come running back in from the kitchen, and he had come from the hallway part, not where he'd gone in originally, which was the French doors. And we were all watching a movie, and he jumped in my lap, and he was shaking, terrified, couldn't speak. It's like, what the hell has done this to my kid? He just went to get a soda in the kitchen. And what is going on? And his girlfriend, fiance was there, so he had to get some control. So I sat him down, got him off my lap. What's going on? He said there was this big shadow thing in there. It looked like a man mom, but its head hit the top of the ceiling. And it had like smoky wisps coming off, but it was totally black, Mom. Just black. It started toward me. I had to go. I don't even want to be here right now. So I grabbed holy water, smudge stick. I'm jumping in there, and I don't see anything. I still bless the hound everywhere, and all the windows, all the doors, and so forth. But that child, that was it. And they were staying with us at the time, like I said, saving. But that was it for my son. The next week, they decided they had enough money, they were gone. And since then, I started researching them. And Amy on, what is that show? The Dead Files. I have a new girl now. She's very good, but I miss Amy. She did it for 20 like years, so it had to be hard. But she said these things were from another dimension and that they're trying to drag you into that dimension. And you might not want to do that because you die on their side. They don't die on our side. It's like they're superpowers. They're very fast and so forth. It's amazing. People can no longer say there's no paranormal. And they can't call everything a fucking poltergeist. Get a grip. Look it up on Google. There's other shit out there. Whoever made the movie The Rake, either they did it because they saw one, or so many of us are thinking about those weirdo things that everybody's got one in their backyard now. The aliens at the mall is fucking cool. So, yeah, I like to talk about shit like that. I don't know what that makes me, but I really don't give a shit again. I think, again, I'm an old hippie. I am an old hippie. I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of that. My fucking shit changed every month and a half. And in IT for 10 years, we only said, did you turn it off, take it out, and plug it back in? That was the solution. You're in a fucking office 14 states away. What you gonna do? I mean, there might be some program you could, if they restart and run the program and do this, that, we can get them up. Sometimes we just say, look, so and so will be there next week. You just should look for a while. Back to AOL and digital printout and all that stuff. So it kept changing. Every time I turned around, it was changing. I was going back to college. Damn thing. So that was always fun. I see my husband's playing through. I put your milk down. Oh, he still wants to cook dinner. I thought you wanted to cook I left the hamburger out so I could do a skillet dinner. Skillet dinner. I'm not a good cook. He's a good cook. He's not bad, but he's tired. Okay, huh? Okay. I know he's tired. He hasn't had a lot of sleep. And he works, well, he doesn't have to work, but he does spend his time out working and going with it. There's a car dealership that goes and buys cars in Atlanta where they auction them off and they have this or that wrong with them. And very small things. and Robert will go up and help him drive it back and change them all, fix them up, and then he'll sell 'em. So and Robert is still. He tried to get me a new car yesterday. It was a silver. I think it was a Chevy. I can't remember. It was newer. I like my little Chevy Cruiser. I like her. She's a little sporty thing. She still fits. You got two seats, so she fits four. She's got a four door. She's not strong as far as what power I'm used to. That's what my husband said. He's like, you're going to blow up something because you have a heavy foot. So luckily, I don't drive that much. I don't go over the speed limit, but when the light changes, I'm out of there. You know, there are other fucking people behind me wanting to get through that light. Those people that look like Fred Flintstone and Barney if they're running. Like, pedal faster, you fuck. It's like, what? So I like to get up here, like I said, things might cross my mind, and I'm in. If it crosses your mind, pop through. Maybe you can let me know. You can always hit it later. Didn't want to stay up here too long. I have a sanctuary for like animals, and I have to get them all fed. I'm running behind today because I ran uptown to Walmart. It was like fucking bumper cars in the parking lot. The park of the hotel. I'm like, what the fuck? You're going this way, and no one turns in front of you, and you're going that way. They turn in front. Like, damn. You're about to get out your car and say, what the fuck are you going to do? You're going that way, this way, just pick one. Road racing. It was funny too. My husband took me to Golden Corral last week, and we were up there, and they were putting fresh chicken up, and I do the chicken and the roast beef potatoes. So I was just grinning away. And everybody kept saying, I look so nice. I usually wear these floor lengths or the 50s type with the crinolines. It's still almost just above the ankle. Just it's a 50s look. It's cute. And you can add different belts. I like the butterflies. Today's I messed those up. And I get a lot. For one thing, I do it because it seems like everywhere I go, everybody knows me and expects me to be dressed. I made the mistake of going out, and the dresses are for me to be able to get around my my injury, because the energy goes out of that leg halfway through the day, and it's about time to cut your pants off at that point. There's a lot of edema, swelling that occurs if you're on your legs all day. Plus, I'm dancing again. You know the music, 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 music. I love that one with the cats. And then there's the other one. But there's some, and I said that was the best way for me to go back to getting better was to learn some dances. So I learned the Wolverine dance. I love that one. But it was a little rough on the legs. So the other two are a little bit better. So, and I can't do more than 2 or 3 minutes of it. So, but it's getting better. It's getting better. And I can't believe my son was telling me to take my dinner. I was like, what the hell for? I mean, well, you got a little bit of extra weight. I said, yeah, I got 20 pounds of extra weight. You sit in bed for a fucking year. You had 500 goddamn pounds overweight. You guys went to Moderno. I'm not doing that shit. Have you seen what happens to Ozempic people? They look like they dead and still walking around. They don't even need a costume. It's like, whoa. I wouldn't touch that shit. If you gave me $1 million, I wouldn't touch it. I'm poor. I'd never touch it. No, I would not. Mm-mm. And there's plenty of examples. These girls look like hell. Now, I'm not going to blow my own horn, okay? But I'm not as old as these women that I'm talking about. They got a good 10, 15 years younger than me, and they look like that. So I'm thinking that's not a good thing when you're an actress and you're 45. I'm just saying. Okay, so you only weigh 12 pounds. Yeah, but you look like Skeletor's face, man. It really hits the face bad. Really hits the face bad. They look terrible. Mm. I listen to music in the background. I have to try to make sure it doesn't leak over into the podcast because, of course, the uh, patent rights or whatever it was. I hope everybody is ready or, well, had a good Valentine's. was looking at my thing and it said Halloween the other day, and I was like, "Is it really Halloween?" I stopped at the one of my stores and picked up something, and he said something about the day, and I said, "Oh yeah, it's Monday, isn't it?" And he was, "No, babe, it's Friday." They know me, and it's like I said, I almost have an image to uphold. They know me. It's been almost 15 years, and I go to the same places generally once or twice a week, but they're not far. And they'll say, "Oh no." I had one say that they had the one in the bet. They had like 6 months, and they said if she wears the same outfit twice, they would win. And if she didn't wear the same outfit twice, this group would win. So I never wore the same outfit. I didn't know about that. Um, so it's like I have this image to control. So I make sure I'm not one of those who runs out in a baseball cap and really big sunglasses and jeans. No, I get dressed, I add jewelry and things, and enjoy being out and walking around. I don't believe that it's the way I was raised. I don't believe I should be out in jeans all the time. There's a time when jeans are, yeah, they're great, but the age you understand that these dresses are much easier. And at my age, they're very flattering, so I like that. I went when I went through Walmart. I had one boy. He was about my age. Had an Army, Vietnam Army hat on, and he saw my car, and I have stickers on my car and a plate, that I'm a veteran. And so he took off his cap and he said, "Thank you, ma'am." And I said, "Well, thank you too, sir." And he said, "I don't suppose you'd let me take you to lunch." I was like, "I'm sorry. I've got a lot to do today, including your husband to feed." He said, "I knew you was going to say that. You're just too pretty. You look like you just stepped out of a 50s book." They make your day when they do that. He said he'd seen me for months, might be for years, and that he never saw me just, in my pajamas and stuff because no matter when I came, of course, I was well dressed. So, yeah, people notice those things. Where did you get that? I love this dress. Where did you get those nails? Where's this? Like my watch. They all noticed. This was a Valentine's gift. I've showed it before. It's quite lovely. It's sapphire and diamonds, and it's got the three-prong down that comes down the wrist. And I'm wearing a lot of bracelets because, again, I got a lot of bracelets. I got a sapphire and diamond, amethyst and diamond, and a filigree flower, golden diamond. And this was from last year for my anniversary. And this one has the black pearls and the white pearls and the filigree. So I don't know if you could see it very well. This the bottom one here. And so, in any event, where did you get this? Where did you get that? And they're gifts. So I really don't know the answer. I'm not trying to, I do pick the dresses and things myself. People give Timu a bad time. I've had 3 or 4 that were a bit too long, but I sew. I just threw him in. They can do that. They can run to somebody who. There's several. This is a base city, so yeah, you got people who will throw in hymns and stuff. They're very good. I know. I did this. I had at that time no energy to do the costume myself, so I went in and did the fitting and told them what I wanted. And so here I am. I've got 3 ball gowns and I'm stitching them because I've got a little mini sewing machine now. And I've already gotten 4 dresses in, and they look great. So I don't think that's a problem for the price you pay, that they may be long. Generally, mine are perfectly at the right height. But you do have, I think I've got now with these two, 5 or 6 that need to have at least a 1 inch, if not a 2 inch hem increase, or well, decrease. So that's always fun. Beat me up on the sewing machine, and the cats are going by. Husband's going, "What you doing?" "I'm making dinner." Ask a stupid question. So I enjoy getting up here and talking to you guys and wondering why none of you ever talk back. There's so much that we can talk about that we couldn't before because we weren't next door to each other. I can talk to you if you're in Italy. I can talk to you if you're in Spain. I can talk to you if you're in your basement 3 feet away. Isn't that awesome? It's just freaking awesome. And they're going to figure out a way to charge us for that shit. I'm going to have to quit. is not paying. And it's going to get worse on everybody. Everything was supposed to go down, everything fucking went up. Everything. Insurance, everything went up. You're wearing, fixed income. This shows everybody else. We are actually more secure than a person who works because we've been in that circle too. Then you live paycheck to paycheck and you worry every day that it might just be your last day. You just don't know. And that was for, since the 80s. And we just retired. And my husband's still doing the garage. He's an awesome mechanic. He's an ace mechanic. He's also a semi driver and instructor. He did that for like 50 years when he wasn't doing. He'd take a hiatus from working on cars, and then he would go over the road and do that for a while. It's hard. Both jobs are hard. I used to go with him when he went out, which was a lot of fun for me because I was like, no, I want a hotel. No, I want a hotel. I worked too, and so we had a lot of fun with that. We married in San Antonio, and I went back to San Antonio like 5 or 6 times. My son considers himself from San Antonio. And so I grabbed my husband and I said, he kept asking me to marry him. And I said, well, if you want to stick around, I'm going to San Antonio. You want to go? Pat. And so we did. And then we went to San Antonio. And about a year and a half later, we decided to get married. And we had no family there. We had a fucking good time. I got some pictures that are awesome. It was a great wedding. And it was both of us a second wedding. I have a stepdaughter. He has a stepson, my son. We've always been next to my son. Not so much my granddaughter. I mean, stepdaughter. She had 2 kids, 3 kids. And the oldest boy remembered me talking about Fort Sam Houston. And I was there for like the basic training of the nurses. I don't know how they do it now, but it's the medical training base after they get out of training. And I remembered those stories, and that was what he wanted to do. I was very stunned by that. My grandson kept telling me the same thing. If you can wear army boots, so can I, Grandma. And off he went. And he said the career was pretty good, and he was done. My other step grandson, I adore him. He's just the sweetest boy. He's now a medic, and he's stationed also in Korea. He went straight from Fort Sam Houston to Korea. So I worry a little. But he's a medic, and hopefully nobody will kill a medic. I don't know in this world anymore. But I'm proud of all of them because I think that should be done. Also, if my grandson has 2 stepsisters, and one of them is a Marine. Yeah, it's just cool. The other one's a nurse. And I keep thinking to myself, when the hell did they grow up? And I have a grandson that graduated at Fort St. Houston, which he would have taken my classes had it been back in the day. We were we worked with Lackland. We had 5 bases then. They took 2 of them and they moved Kelly and Lackland to Warner Robins just below Bacon. So yeah, that was cool. I missed my flybys. We had was it 4 or 5 bases in San Antonio. So there was a lot of military people there, and I guess they wanted to spread them around. I don't know. So we welcomed them too. But it was a very nice compliment that Eli gave me. That's the step grandson. So if there's anything you want to talk about on that, that's great. I get up there and I watch the cartoon of Donnie, President Trump, with old what's her name, Giggle Gore Kamala, telling he's a racist, and he's answering all his questions. He's funny as shit. I watched him when he was on the podcast, and I've always thought he had this dry sense of humor. I remember getting on Fresh Prince. Yeah, no, and I will never watch William. And another thing, he walked up on live television and he slapped the fuck out of Chris Rock for nothing. I'll never forget that. Forgive's not a problem. That's up to God. But I will never forget it. And I'll never watch anything he's got anything to do with ever again. Or if his family does. None of them. No. Uh-uh. No, that was horrifically wrong. And he managed to pull that off after that. What a man. I mean, I love Chris Rock. I've been watching him for a long, long time too. And he took it and he managed to finish it. and then he could step off stage and leave the building. They were going to get the police and do all this. He wouldn't do it, but he was done. He left, and then I guess they probably had to fill a little in. Maybe not. I don't know. But no, I don't. I can't. Like I said, it's not a forgive thing. It's not. I'm not going to forget that, and I'm not going to forget the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Just not. It's like, hey, I saw Mandela's funeral. What the hell was he doing in the night? He was alive in the night. He died in the 80s. I saw the funeral. He, what? I mean, the Mandela effect. I love that. I don't know what CERN did, but all kind of shit been haywire ever since, especially the shadow critters and people. Just an FYI, when something opens, every cabinet in your house stacks chairs at the same time, throws over sofas at the same time, opens everything in every room in your house, rips blinds out of the wall, and it took a second. You get out of there, you throw in some holy water and a fucking match. That's not a poltergeist. It's just not a poltergeist. And you're not going to get a priest who can help you. They don't even have the evangelical church teaching that, I don't think, anymore. So, I mean, you have to quote me. I was raised Catholic, but I'm not kissing nobody's ring. Just not. Even my husband's, I'm like, you nuts. You follow me. Get over. No, not kissing the ring. Jesus didn't tell people to kiss his fucking ring. What the hell? There's an awful lot of crazy, weird shit. I was there. I had my son baptized there. That was fun. Standing in the heat for days. Well, they finally decided to pour a little water over your kid's head. It cost you a lot of money. Back then it was liras. Now it's the same thing. And this is why the borders have been. These countries are losing themselves. I'm so saddened by what's going on in Europe. It's scary as fuck. It's scary here in the United States. Fort Sumter fired one fucking shot. It was on, white on rice. It was Civil War, you mother. It was just an instant Civil War. Now, I wasn't no picking. That shit was on. And it was bad. It was real bad. They fired one shot. We got how many sanctuary cities that have been stealing federal money, as far as I'm concerned? Why would you give them federal money? They're seceded from the state, as far as I'm concerned. If they're a sanctuary city and they refuse to obey their president for one fucking thing and do all this other fucking shit against ICE agents, it should have been civil war. Those bastards should have been cuffed and perk walked, pepper sprayed, tased, tarred, and feathered. This is why I don't want to be president. Still, I can't understand people like Nancy Pelosi, she's what, 86, 87? She's got hundreds of millions of dollars. Why the fuck does she still want to be a senator or a congresswoman or whoever the fuck she is? Why? What? Dianne Feinstein. That's the one I couldn't remember. They wheeled her in on a gurney, a hospital gurney. And she said, what am I voting for? And they said, don't worry about that. Just vote no. She did. They left. She died a couple days later. You can't make that shit up. I served in D.C. We were, my mother-in-law were stationed in civil service at the Secretary of Agriculture. She had also been the Secretary of the Governor of Ohio for 2 terms. And she was the only one who could catch me on speed. And 145 words a minute ain't easy. And no errors. She did 146 and no errors. And she would never let me have that challenge back. She beat me by 1 word. Bitch. She knows I'm kidding. But we were in on the food stamp program. She invented it. And what little help, we kind of quite a little bit. We called it funny money or monopoly money, but it worked. And it was better than the free cheese they were giving folk with peanut butter. Oh, so I mean, because back then, if your company decided they weren't going to pay this or that, then they had all these people rioting and stuff. You couldn't break the line. That was you'd get killed if you did that. So you did without. They didn't have food stamps. They finally started coming, like I said, powdered milk, cheese, and peanut butter. I think it was. And good thing my parents, they were World War I, Depression, World War II. They had plenty of shit. Mom made her own bread and everything. Shit. It didn't hardly affect us. But Dad still would miss a week of work or something. And that's hard on a working man. So, I mean, I come from a poor background, and so I know how that works. Then let's see, what else was I going to tell everybody? There was something up today besides minutes. Oh, yes, our Fannie Willis at Fulton County just keeps on giving. If you haven't seen what the hell this broad's been up to, you need to watch what Cupcake's doing, man. I've been watching for a couple of years now. I'm going, you just can't make this shit up. Go pull that name. Go watch what she be doing. There's a couple of sites that I like, legal sites that I like. And so I check into those. And yeah, she's doing that. And the Somalians, we've been funding 2 terrorist programs for a decade. Weekend at Bernie's was doing well. Who was selling those damn signed, what are they? Well, you can't, pardons, presidential pardons. Who was selling that? Somebody was selling the fuck out of that. Somebody check with Jill. Follow that money. I didn't like her. I think it shuts me up for a second. I haven't seen anything on my chat, so I guess everybody's out. I'm gonna go with that instead of saying, "Oh, I didn't get anybody today." So, come on up here, say something, talk about something. There's a lot of us hippies here, and there's no reason for us to be fearful anymore. They have legalized it. Then I'm glad that several people live to see it, including Willie Nelson. He's doing bad, and I worry about him, so prayers for him. And well, we've lost a lot of stars. And Louis Long, Chinese actor and singer, was killed. And that's another one I try to touch on base with because he was beautiful. He was one of the best actors, and his voice was just pure magic. And they tortured him for a week and then threw him over a balcony. And they were trying to say, well, he was home, he was just drinking and fell accidentally off the 15th fucking floor. Supposedly 8 people have been arrested. Oh, Japan, I mean, China used to have the death penalty. I'm not sure if they do or not. I couldn't believe it when I saw the news. This kid was just like Charlie. He never hurt anybody, never ever said anything bad to anybody, helped everybody. God calls home the good. It's time to be worrying about biblical shit. And there's some of that. I saw a camel fucking floating by in the Sahara. I was like, hey, wait, did you see the desert? It's all desert, but they're in a river that's coming out of a hole in a sand dune. Damnedest thing I ever seen. And the animals are just, they go by. I mean, I about fell out. I was like, you got to see this. And my husband's like, I'm like, that's so biblical. You just don't know. I had to watch as the locust attacked several places and there was nothing left. And they couldn't even get the kids home on the bus because there were so many of them on there and stuff. It was just biblical. Um, I've been through 2 earthquakes here in Augusta. These are very rare. And they've been over 4 points. And it actually moved some of my marble areas in the kitchen. So it gave gaps and we have to get, pull those in. But nothing else happened. We had the hurricane, spawning tornadoes, 2 of which went through my backyard. I could show you. I used to chase, and my daddy used to take us. And when a tornado's been there. Not like a hurricane. A hurricane was, it had a lot of wind, it had a lot of damn rain, but it spawned tornadoes. And oh my God, I mean, it was also a nightmare. My husband, while Helene was hitting us, he was freaked out. He got us back home. He carried me in the house, and I'm still, just wanted to get in bed. And at the time, he was worried that it was going to take the house out. But he had both RVs parked next to the house, and I think that's what sheltered our home. We had glass tables out back on the patio. We had glass tables out front on the front porch, chairs and so forth. They were all iron. I took the iron bench and threw it out into the yard, but it didn't get anything. We were so shocked. None of the trees that came down hit us or our friends and neighbors. So we were just blessed. Yes, we had no power. I didn't get surgery for a month to start, to even begin to treat me. It took a month because the whole city was down with Jews. The whole city. You could go to the VA and go to the emergency room, and I didn't see the fucking point. They didn't do anything when I was there to begin with. They just leave you patched up for a fucking month, and they go, "Oh, you're wondering about that? Well, let me see if I can make a call." Yeah, you really want to go up there and just, that they front on it. Yeah, it's not their fault. And so a surgeon was seen at University of Augusta. They sent me there. We call that outsourcing. And the surgeon saw me, and he walked up and "You've been like this for a month?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh my God, you're to be here at 4:30 in the morning. That gives you what, 8, 9 hours? I want you to get this test, this, and I want you here at 4:30." And there was like 5 teams on us. I was like, "Oh my God." They had a new technique they've been using where they numb the entire leg. It's a muscle thing. Somehow it just turns off all feeling to the leg. And they did this and other things. And oh my God, it was great till the third day when it wore off. Ah! And they don't believe in treating pain. They tell me, take extra strength Tylenol. And you wouldn't believe how many times I saw that little surgeon and wanted to absolutely bitch slap him and give him a Tylenol. Lord knows I refrained. I'm old. I've got bail money. I see behind me they want to turn my music off. Nope, they gotta keep going. Love these guys. I want to see them. I never found it before. I like music with like an orchestra, and his voice is beautiful with it. And many have copied his songs. Not bad. Saw a couple of guys I wish I'd seen when I was 20. Jeez, be lucky. I don't want y'all ass out. And for the weekend, he would have been gone for a week. I kid. For some reason that I cannot fathom, I've already passed an hour here, and it never feels that long to me. But I've got rescued cats to take care of. So it's time for me to get down off my soapbox and tell y'all have a good weekend. I really don't do weekends anymore. I wasn't sure I'd be able to pull off Friday. And again, I think I lost the fact that when I was somewhere and I thought it was Monday. Yeah, Ellie's Walmart. Yeah, I thought it was Monday. It's like, I lost the whole week. So try to be happy. Try to say something if you do see me. Share. Talk to your friends. Talk to me. Let's just use this. Let's just have a hoot. Grab me a drink. Come on. Just come on. Maybe we can just hook up and we can just throw up, who I'm talking to. The whole media thing is amazing. But I don't go, I try not to go over about. So come and see me if you see me this time. If you don't, that's fine too. Y'all have an awesome weekend. And try to remember me if you saw me.